We're eating a big old Southern supper today, y'all. We've been craving some fried chicken, and I love potato salad, especially when the weather starts getting warmer. We're just gonna make a couple of other things too. It just felt like it was time. Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. We're about to eat some Southern food.
That's right.
We're excited about
fried
it.
chicken.
We do have fried chicken. So we got a whole plate of food, and I'm gonna show you how I made everything on this plate. We are so excited. But one of my favorite things is my potato salad. It's so good.
Here we go. That's amazing. The reason I like this potato salad particularly is because it has, you can definitely pick out all the ingredients that are in there, the peppers, the onions, the egg. It's just absolutely delicious.
All right, I'm gonna go back in time. I'm gonna show you how to make this. I've been making this particular potato salad for 10 years plus. I got this recipe a long time ago. Don't know where I got it because I hand wrote it down, and everyone always raves about it. It's just that good. So let's make it. Okay, to get started, I've got about 2.5 pounds of red potatoes. I love using red potatoes for this particular one because I don't have to peel them, which is really great. So I'm just gonna cut these into chunks and throw them over here into my Dutch oven. Okay, we've got 2.5 pounds of red potatoes diced. I'm gonna cover these with water and stick them on the stove. Okay, next I need to hard boil a couple of eggs. I use this little egg cooker to do that. I'm gonna add my water and then poke a hole. There's a little, I don't know if you can see that, like a little needle. Poke a hole in my 2 eggs and just put the lid on and turn that on. So that will beep at me when they are done. While we wait on our potatoes to come up to a boil and for our eggs to do their thing, I am going to cut about half of this green pepper. I'm gonna grab my dicer because I've got to do this and some onion, so let's do that. You could definitely chop this and do like larger pieces if you wanted to. I prefer them to be really small, so that's why I'm gonna use this because this does them all very uniform. And the recipe calls for yellow onion, but I really prefer red, and if I have it on hand, that's what I use. We're gonna use not quite half of this one because it is so large. I'm just gonna quarter this and put them here. So we've got all of that ready. That will go into our potato salad in just a little bit. So our timer went off and I put them over here into this ice bath. I'm gonna let them hang out here for a good 5 minutes. We've still got about 9 or 10 minutes on these potatoes. They came up to a boil. Because they're cooked or they're cut so small, it takes about 10 minutes. You don't want them to fall apart when you touch them with a fork, but you want them to be tender, so just keep an eye on them. I am so thrilled that today's video is sponsored by Caraway. Caraway cookware has been the best thing that's happened to my kitchen ever. We've been using Caraway pots and pans and their bakeware for about 1.5 years, and they are still just as non-stick, and I love the fact that they are 100% toxin free. I have gotten rid of all of my other pots and pans because they just don't hold up and they don't perform as well as my Caraway. But I'm so stoked to tell you that Caraway now has a Cookware Plus set that I just got recently and I'm in love with. It matches my other cookware, so everything looks seamless. It just looks like an extension of what I already had. It came with 4 pieces. There is a petite cooker that I have been using for rice. We also got the stir fry pan, and that pan is like a skillet, but it's a little deeper and rounded, has the high sides. We recently did a video where we were making all of these specialty ramen dishes, and we used that, and it is the perfect thing for that. We love their Dutch oven, but if you need a stock pot that's a lot bigger, they've got it now. The Dutch oven holds 6.5 quarts, while the stock pot now holds 12 quarts. And then they also have the Rondeau, which is very similar to their saute pan, but it has higher sides, so it's a little bit deeper, it's a little bit bigger. If you already have the Caraway set and you are looking for something for maybe for holidays when you're cooking larger quantities and you just need something extra on top of what you have there, the Caraway Cookware Plus set is exactly what you need. And while you can buy Caraway cookware individually, when you buy it in a set, you get more savings that way. Check out the link in my description box below to go check out all of Caraway's products. And if you use the code MandyInTheMaking, you're gonna get an additional 10% off, which is better than any other deal that they have on their site. This is what we're talking about here. It doesn't fall apart, but it's done. So, I've turned this off. Let's drain this, and we're gonna let these cool for quite a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna set a timer. I'm gonna let these cool for about 15 minutes, maybe longer. We'll see. But that just helps not separate the mayo when you're tossing it with the mayo. You don't want it hot. So I'm gonna set a timer and come check on it here in about 15 minutes. Okay, it's been more like 30 minutes, but I just put my potatoes in this bowl. I need to peel and chop these. These are not potatoes, these are eggs. I couldn't think of the word. Peel and chop these eggs really quickly.
What you making?
Potato salad.
Making potato salad.
Why are you mad about it?
I'm like happy mad.
Happy mad? Why?
Like mad at the prospect of you eating some of it.
Well, there's gonna be a lot of it, don't worry. We're gonna have it for days.
Love you.
Love you. Okay, so I'm gonna use this little chopper tool. I'm gonna add that in. So let's just kind of stir, break up those eggs and stir them in. Okay, we're gonna add in about a half a cup of mayo. I just kind of eyeball it and then I add more if I need it. We're gonna go with that first. About a tablespoon of mustard. I usually do a little more than a tablespoon if I'm being honest, because I really like the mustard flavor. So that's probably a tablespoon. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Okay, we're gonna add in our diced veggies. You need some dill relish. I think the recipe calls for 8 ounces. This is not quite full, but I'm just gonna use all of this, it's fine. Not the sweet relish, I use the dill. And then lastly, I'm gonna add in like a half a teaspoon of sugar. It's just a little bit, not a lot of sugar. Let's stir this together and then I'm gonna salt and pepper it at the end. All right, I think it needs a little more mayo. So let's add that. A tad bit more mustard. My potato salad is so good.
So good. Where'd you get the recipe from?
No clue. I've had it for so many years, I don't know. All right, so we gotta taste test this because you gotta do quality control. That is so stinking good. So I'm gonna put a lid on this. It does need to be in the refrigerator for at least a couple of hours before you serve it. So, lid going on, and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna try my Nana Elizabeth's biscuits.
First of all, they passed the eye test. They're real fluffy.
Mm-hmm, they are. They're so simple. It's 3 ingredients. I'm going to show you how to make it, but you need to tell me below. What did your grandmother teach you to cook? This was the only thing she really ever taught me how to make. It's not really cooking, it's baking. And y'all know I'm not a baker, so if I can make these, there's hope for you too, okay?
Super fluffy.
They're so good.
Great buttermilk flavor.
Yep. So let's go back in time. I'm going to show you how to make these 3 ingredients biscuits. Okay, we're gonna be making my Nana's biscuits. So my Nana Elizabeth, she gave me this recipe. And when I say she gave me the recipe, I mean she said about this much flour and this much buttermilk till it feels right, which is how any true Southern lady cooks, right? But my mom and I sat with her one time and she said, okay, about this much flour, and we measured things out so that we could write down a recipe. And so this is as close as to my Nana's biscuits we're gonna come, but they're pretty good, I have to say. It only uses 3 ingredients and it comes together really quickly. And I haven't made them in forever. So let's make them. All right, we need to preheat our oven to 500. I know you just gasped, but my Caraway cookware and bakeware can be in the oven up to 550 degrees, believe it or not. So 500 it is. If you are making biscuits and you can get your hands on white lily flour, do it. We need 4 cups of self-rising flour. We need about 3.5 tablespoons of Crisco. Got it.
Scrape that grease out, baby.
2, 3,
Yeah.
and a half.
Big old knobs of grease.
That's how we cook in the South.
That's right.
So try not to get the low fat or the fat-free buttermilk. We don't do that. We all about some full fat here in the South, okay?
Full fat.
Some full fat, okay? We need about 1.5 cups of buttermilk, and we're just going to add, I'm gonna add just a little bit in and get it started, and then I'll pour the rest of it in. Now my Nana only used her hands, and I'm gonna go in with my hands, but I'm gonna cut some of this Crisco up with a pastry cutter first and kind of get it started, and then I'll go in with my hands. It's so cold. This takes me back. The smell of the flour and the buttermilk together. I don't know. I just remember being in Nana's kitchen with her making biscuits. All right, I definitely need the rest of that milk. So let me grab it with my nasty hands. So now I'm gonna take my biscuit mixture and put it here on the counter that Stephen floured for me because my hands were full.
I did something useful.
You did. Oh my gosh. My least favorite part is this. My goodness. Okay. So we're gonna knead it a little bit, and I just like to stick my hands in the flour because then it's not so sticky.
I do need that.
We need these biscuits. These biscuits.
Biscuit.
These biscuits.
Get you a biscuit or two.
We're pretty much done here. Now I need to grab my rolling pin. So let me do that and wash my hands.
Whoa, what you doing with that dangerous weapon there?
You scared me.
Scared me.
You should be scared. All right, let's start rolling these out. Don't want to get them too thin. That's about right. That might actually be a little too thin. We want some thick biscuits. We don't want them puny. I don't even know if Nana had a biscuit cutter. She probably did. But when I was growing up, I always used a cup, but I do have a biscuit cutter, so let me grab that. Before we cut them, I grabbed my baking sheet. I don't have to worry about greasing it because it's a Caraway and it's super non-stick. So that's a good thing. But I'm gonna take this and just make my biscuits. I should have grabbed the bigger baking pan. So I get to wash 2 baking pans now, but let me go grab the bigger one. This is the Mac Daddy. This is what we needed. I'm gonna do a little bit of rearranging because we had enough for one more biscuit. And it's gonna go right there. Now these are going in the oven at 500 for about 10 minutes. We'll look at them at the 8-minute mark just to make sure we're good, but that's it. Okay, I left them in there about almost 12 minutes. They're starting to get lightly browned on top, which is exactly what I want. And I'm not kidding when I say this thing is non-stick. None of these stuck at all. They were sliding all over the place as soon as I pulled them out. So we're gonna let these cool. So my mama always had a bread basket and she would have just like a kitchen towel in there. I don't have a basket, mine is a little bowl, but we're gonna do it mama style over here and we're gonna throw our biscuits in here and just kind of cover them up.
The ultimate green beans in your eyes were whose green beans?
My Meemaw, my great grandmother on my mama's side.
Yeah.
Best green beans. They are the best green beans I've ever had.
Yep. And I wish I knew how to cook those.
I wish I knew how to make them too.
But these are a close second, yes?
Yes, they are.
These are my green beans that I've been making this way for years now, and they're so good. So many of y'all love this recipe. So I'm going to share it with you again, just in case you're new and you don't know.
That is delicious.
They're so good. They have bacon in them. I mean, you can't go wrong when something has bacon in it.
You can't, but it's all those flavors, the sugar, the garlic, the bacon flavor. Those big green beans, they just soak up all of that flavor. And when you just take a bite, it's just like, wow.
All right, so let's go back in time and I'll show you how to make it.
We're gonna use our large saute pan and turn it to about just a little over medium. And we're gonna get started on the green beans. So I've got 3 pieces of bacon here. I'm just going to go in with my kitchen shears and do arts and crafts, as Stephen calls it when I do this.
That's right.
But I'm just gonna chop all of this up and we're gonna start to fry it. So our bacon is good and crispy. Now it's time to add our green beans. I like the Italian style green beans. You can get whatever, but these are like the flat green beans. I just like that. So I've drained them. I'm not using the juices that they're in the can with. All right, now I'm just gonna add some chicken broth. There we go. And we want this to kind of come up to a light simmer, but first let's add some seasonings in there. First and foremost, we need some garlic powder. I do a teaspoon or 2. Next, we need some brown sugar. I don't know how much I do. I just kind of eyeball it. Maybe a couple of tablespoons of brown sugar. And then we just need a little bit of salt and pepper. Now that it's come up to a simmer, we're just gonna let this hang out while we work on our fried chicken. But I want most of the liquid to cook out over the course of the next 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, this has been going for about 25 minutes or so. You see we don't have a ton of liquid left. So I turned it down to pretty much low, and it's just gonna simmer here.
And now the star of the show. Normally when I make fried chicken, I do a very shallow fry, which is the way my mom always did it. My mom always made fried chicken and then put it in the refrigerator and we ate it cold. Do y'all do that? Do you eat it hot or do you eat it cold? My mom always made it early and put it in the fridge and we ate it cold. It's just what we did.
Some like it hot, and some like it cold. And some like it in a pot 9 days old.
Not chicken.
All right. Not chicken.
Okay.
All right, here we go. You ready?
I am
Big
ready.
old bite. Oh, man. Mmm.
Oh my goodness. Super crispy.
Crispy, juicy in the inside there.
Flavorful.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
That's what you want.
It's cooked to perfection all the way down to the bone.
Okay, so let's go back in time and I will show you how we made this Southern fried chicken.
Southern supper is beginning now at lunchtime because we are going to marinate or kind of soak our chicken in buttermilk so it's super tender for later today. So let's do that now. I've got chicken legs and chicken thighs, or drumsticks and thighs today because that's what we prefer. Okay, first of all, we're gonna season these a little bit before we put them in the buttermilk. I've got some salt here. Just going to kind of sprinkle that over top. I will flip these and we'll do it to the other side as well. We've got garlic powder going on and onion powder. Let's flip it and do it to the other side. All right, that's all we've got to do for that. Now we're gonna put them in this large bowl over here. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna add some buttermilk and some hot sauce and just let these soak. Like I mentioned, it's lunchtime. You want them to soak for at least 2 hours. Overnight is even better. I'm gonna move them around in there, but I'm also gonna add some hot sauce to this, a couple of tablespoons. We got another one, so I'm just emptying it in there and kind of just toss all of this around. This is gonna go in the fridge. I'm gonna cover it, put the lid on it, and it's going in the fridge until we're ready to cook dinner. So that's that. We are ready for some fried chicken. Steven's got this big thing of peanut oil. We're pouring it here in the Dutch oven, and we're gonna heat this to about 350 degrees. All right, we're gonna make our little dredging bowl. We need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We need about a cup of cornstarch. We need some salt. We need a couple of teaspoons of black pepper and a couple teaspoons of paprika. I'm just going to use this little mini whisk just to mix it all together. So I got our chicken out of the fridge. You want to let any of that excess buttermilk just kind of drip off, and then you're going to move over and dredge it, get it good and coated. We're just going to take it and place it on this plate, and you want to leave it on the plate for just a couple of minutes. You want the flour to start looking a little pasty. That's gonna hang out there while he starts to do the rest of them. I probably need to get you another plate because they're not all gonna fit on there. He's gonna work on that process and we'll be right back. Steven's over here waiting on this to get to about 350.
355.
Is that 355 now?
No.
Oh. Okay, where are we at now?
We're close. I'm at 337.
So you see these have been sitting here for probably about 10 minutes, and you see it kind of looks a little pasty. That's what we want. Our oil is ready, so Steven is gonna go ahead. We're gonna do the thighs first. These are some of the largest thighs I've ever seen. Woo! So for dark meat, you're probably gonna cook it from anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. You just gotta check on it. So we're just gonna let this hang out.
I seen some guy on YouTube put the whole thing in his mouth.
What?
What?
He put the whole thing in his mouth and he scraped up all the meat on the leg.
That's a little dangerous.
Where's he from?
I don't know.
We don't do that.
If I could do it, I would do it.
You want to tell them about that time you swallowed a chicken bone?
I'm gonna tell them about that. Yeah, we was eating chicken wings, watching football, and all of a sudden I swallowed a bone.
Because he eats so fast, he must not even felt it in his mouth. But he felt it in his throat.
Not a good day.
We had to go to the ER.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Gosh, that was probably what?
That was back almost before YouTube, probably. I mean, back before YouTube was even a thing.
Well, I think YouTube started in 2005. Yeah, and this was probably 2007 or 2008. So ever since then, for the most part, we eat boneless wings.
Yeah, I'm not trying to relive that.
That was awful. I really hope that you will give this particular dinner a try. It was not too bad because I cooked a little bit all throughout the day. I made the potato salad early. I made the biscuits earlier, so it made it a little bit easier. I can remember when Nana, your grandma, would be in the kitchen all day long. They just stayed in the kitchen and they cooked big meals like this all the time. Props to them. That ain't for me. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed having dinner with us. Let me know below what you plan to try first, and we will see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.